Today's video brings a whole new meaning to weapons retention.
Hi everybody, welcome to today's bonus badge cam lesson. I'm your host as always, John Correa, and joining me again, my co-host Mike Williver.
Today's video comes to us from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Mountain Man Medical has name brand proven trauma medical supplies with a price match guarantee to ensure you get the right gear at the right price. Check them out at get-asp.com/mountainman. 1:30 in the morning here on the 4th of July, and this guy has had a little bit too much America, started partying, got into a shoving match with a security guard. Officers have chased him down, and when we pick this up, he's actually in cuffs, and they're taking him up to the security office. We have badge cam with some audio, then let's look at the surveillance footage.
Hey. Stop it. Bro! Going up. Just hold it. Relax. There you go. You're okay. Relax. No, please. We're here to help you. Please. 050. Yeah, what the f was that? He's got his gun. He's got your gun. I got it. Okay. You got it? Yeah. Is everybody okay? I got shot. Oh, get him a tourniquet, guys. Can you get
The elevator has a surveillance camera where we can see these officers bring this guy in, and you can see he's resisting them. He's been having a very hard time. So they're trying to get a set of cuffs off of this guy. Now it's going to be difficult to see, but watch where his hands are, because he's going to actually get his hand on the officer that's in the middle's gun and actually press the trigger while it's in the holster. It is while it's in the holster that the gun is discharged, putting a .45 caliber round through the sergeant's leg. One of the other officers got some spall in his ankle as well. So this guy is being charged with a whole host of charges, including aggravated assault on a protected person, and he will be doing some significant time. The officer's going to make a full recovery, and we get to think about some lessons. So Mike, we like good gear and we don't like bad gear. And if you want to join us on our second channel, Active Self Protection Extra, every Sunday we post a gear review to kind of suss out the good and the bad. And I will call out bad gear there and attract all the haters. So join us. I think as our first lesson, Mike, it's worth mentioning that it's real easy when you got a guy who's in custody, you got nothing but other cops around, to kind of let your guard down a little bit.
We were talking about this offline. Yeah, it's definitely a warm fuzzy about having one bad guy and 8 cops or whatever the case may be. I think it's only natural for you to feel like, okay, we're out of danger. We can kind of relax, let our guard down. And I'm going to say this now. I absolutely did what these guys are doing 1,000 times in the field. It never occurred to me that somebody could get their hand inside of my holster. I mean, it's just not something you think about until you see this video.
Yeah, and of course, this guy's still resisting means that we still got problems. So we still got to stay on point. And I think these officers did generally a very good job, but they kind of got stuck in a Kobayashi Maru here that is not a problem that we're going to see, but we'll talk about for just a minute. So they come in, get this guy stuffed up against things, and you had an interesting thing to think about through this, Mike, that is kind of past, but for an officer, they're trying to change cuffs on this guy right now.
Again, something I've done 1,000 times in the field. There's a way to do it, and I'm not going to talk about that unless any bad guys are watching the show. Yeah. But if you can wait until you're in a sterile area, if you can wait until you're in a security office, for example, I'm sure that's where they were going inside the stadium or back in your police station where nobody has weapons on them at that point, then I would feel much better about either uncuffing or switching cuffs. Listen, folks, cuffs aren't that expensive. There's no need right now. There's no pressing need to change the cuffs out in the field. Again, I've done it a million times, something I hadn't thought about until I saw this video. Just wait. Cuffs are cuffs, so get your cuffs back. Right. It's worth noting he's wearing hinged cuffs, which really restrict the ability of your wrists to move. So I'm not sure why they were changing them out here, but that's what was going on.
Now, notice that the officer whose gun gets discharged here, he sees that this guy has a hold of his gun, and with his left hand, he reaches in here. Now, I'm not gonna, badmouth anybody. I think this is the most commonly used holster because it's a pistol-mounted light on his duty gun. And what happens here is that leaves an opening in the holster that he can get a hold of the trigger. And so this guy's left hand is stuck, in a spot where he just reaches out to grab something, happens to get inside and light one off in the holster. And here's my encouragement to every single officer is that if you're running a pistol mounted light, which I think you should, make sure that the holster that you use has the maximum amount of trigger coverage and trigger guard coverage to prevent something like this from happening.
I had a crook, this was years ago, back in the 90s, but I had a crook try to disarm me as we were walking out of we're walking out of a bar, And I'm not going to fault this officer for a second. He realized what he realized as soon as he possibly could. It took two tugs of my gun before I realized what was happening, and it just happened so fast.
The other part of this that I really want you to pay attention to is that if you're using one of those holsters, specifically with one of the weapon-mounted lights that's wide, that uses the batteries that are side by side, then that increases the width of the channel that is necessary for the holster in order to put the gun in the holster. That is going to leave your trigger uncovered. We have seen that be a problem at funerals. We've seen an officer have a negligent discharge at a funeral with this kind of holster. We've actually seen an SRO, a school resource officer, have a child reach in and press the trigger on their gun and have a negligent discharge. And so again, negligence not by the officer, but by the equipment chosen. So listen, if you have this, you got to keep somebody from getting near your gun, because if it happens, you're going to have a negligent discharge like this.
If you're not sure if your holster is good in this situation or not, try it in training. Try it with a blue gun or a red gun, or try, make sure the gun's unloaded and just see if it's possible to get a finger in there and get it round off. And if it is, dude, switch your equipment. It's not worth it. And again, I'm not going to pretend like I knew all this ahead of time. I had to see the video to realize this was even an issue.
And I get it. People are going to ask me a bunch, and I've been asked a bunch already about this idea that says, well, wait a minute, John, this is the holster that everybody uses. It is the standard duty grade. And so wait a minute, how are we going to replace that because of this? Well, it's time for better technology. It's time for a solution to be found.
There was a time in this country when everyone thought smoking was perfectly okay. It wasn't going to hurt your health. Well, guess what? They were wrong. And this holster needs to be modified or done away with.
And I do think we're coming out now with newer pistol lights that are a little bit narrower. Now, of course, we still want one that has incredible high candela and those kinds of things, but with enough narrowness to prevent this from happening. So this is an equipment problem. And I do think that we want to think about, wait a minute, should our equipment be held to that kind of a high standard? And actually, I think the answer is 100% yes.
If it means you have to not roll with a gun-mounted light to avoid having this potential issue, I hate to say it, but I'd have a handheld and deal with not having a gun-mounted light.
All right, duty holster makers, fix this problem for us, would you? Now, we see his shot breaks. Everybody does a little river dance there to get out of the way. And now what we see here is, I love the fact that one of these undercovers, so that's what the guys with all their faces covered are clearly undercovers at this point. He jumps in. Now, I don't mind the other guys getting out of the way to see the problem, but the dude in the gray shirt decides, no, I'm stepping in because I see that this is a problem and I'm going to go solve it.
We were talking about this earlier. I think the instinct for these other guys to kind of get out of there and get out of the way is part self-preservation, but it's also part, hey, I need to be out. They need room to work. The shot just went off. We don't know who or why or what happened. Let's get out of the way so these guys can get to work on this suspect, because something bad just happened. And yeah, for sure, the guy in the gray shirt is my new hero for getting in there as quickly as and recognizing what was going on.
I think that was it. He saw the problem. He saw what was going on and stepped in there to fix it, because he was able to do so quickly. Kudos to him for that and for seeing where the problem was and fixing it. And then now we see our sergeant here, who is going to hop off because he has caught a 45 caliber slug, 45 jacketed hollow point in the leg. And when we heard the badge cam, they said, hey man, get a tourniquet on him. What do you think, Mike? Tourniquet quickly?
It couldn't hurt. I'm a fan of the tourniquet, even prophylactically, even if you don't see a lot of bleeding. There could be an internal bleed, you don't know. Let the experts, the paramedics figure that out. Let the doctor figure it out at the hospital. Again, I want to stress, you can have a tourniquet on for hours at a time and you're not going to lose the limb. That's a myth. We need to debunk that.
So again, got shot in the leg. Throw the tourniquet on. Yes, it's going to hurt. Put it on there nice and tight. Then analyze from there. Now we can relax knowing that he's not going to probably bleed to death through, a femoral artery bleed or something like that, and then get him some help. Well, I mean, I'm glad he was carrying a tourniquet that day. I'm glad that was there. This is one of those kind of things where we go, wow, this wasn't a problem that we thought earlier, but now that we recognize that it exists, let's fix our gear.